Earlier today, we got what could be perceived as a pretty interesting update around Starfield from Bethesda. Now, at face value, this looks very simple. It's a part of the Evening of Wishes Hope from Home charity. This being a part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Bethesda has supported them in the past, and as a part of this charity event, several companies got together to offer something in an auction format. So you can bid on it, it has a certain value associated with it, with all of the proceeds going to charity. And that in and of itself is actually really great. I'll have a link to this full page down below where you can check out all of the items, or even just buy a ticket for yourself, or even just donate if you don't want anything in return. But what could be perceived as interesting is what exactly Bethesda offered up here. As what they're offering up is this thing called the Bethesda Games Bundle. It features a new Xbox Series X, not all that shocking, that's pretty standard, a digital library of a bunch of Bethesda games, but the biggest thing here is design a character for Starfield. And on the auction page itself, they do say everyone loves creating their own version of the hero of their games, but very few players get to actually become a character within a game itself. The winner of this package will work with the award-winning team at Bethesda Game Studios, including executive producer Todd Howard, to create a character for their highly anticipated upcoming game, Starfield. And at the end, Bethesda Softworks team will schedule a time to create the character within 3 months of 2/28/2021. That being within 3 months of the end date of this auction. I actually bid on this for a little while, I was the top bidder, but now the bidding has gone much higher to over $4,000 at the time of recording. So at first glance, this isn't much. A lot of people might read into this in one way, saying, well, if you're creating a character for this game, it must mean the game is somewhat close to being complete. If they're at that stage in the development process, it could mean something. I mean, technically, based on this timing, Starfield is not releasing in the next 3 months, but the character aspect itself isn't really all that indicative. You can create a character for a game really quickly. The game could be not coming out for several years still, and they could be doing this auction and charity now, or even it could be coming out this summer, and the 3-month window would still be plenty of time to get this fleshed out and designed and implemented. It's likely going to be a relatively minor character. But as you start to look a bit deeper, things do get a bit more interesting. You realize Bethesda doesn't ever talk about Starfield, as this is in fact the first time Bethesda Game Studios' Twitter account has talked about Starfield since July of 2018, which is when a bunch of those official Starfield social media handles actually went live. And in fact, they've only ever tweeted 3 times about this game in general. Even further, there is of course a lot of speculation around them choosing Starfield. Why is this the game that you get a character in? Why not Fallout 76? Would be really cool to have your character created for the next DLC in Fallout 76. It could still have all the things, working with Todd Howard, working with Bethesda themselves, and even could be cooler in some ways in that you and your friends together could see the character you designed and created in Fallout 76 permanently. That would actually be pretty awesome compared to just a single player experience like we have with Starfield. But really, the reason this is the most interesting overall, and the reason I want to make a video on this, is it's kind of hard to ignore with everything else going on. Like just yesterday, I made a full video talking about Starfield, or predominantly about Starfield, because there's been so much rumors and news going on behind the scenes. We've heard several leaks around this. The Microsoft buyout of Bethesda is supposedly closing in the next couple of weeks. And Jeff Grubb, somebody who has predicted a lot of things and leaked several things in the past, mentioned how he thinks Bethesda/Microsoft will have some kind of mini event in March. Shortly after that, we see Nate Drake, another very accurate leaker around Nintendo releases, say last he heard the end of 2020, Starfield was targeting a 2021 release date, and then just a day after all of that, we get Bethesda actually tweeting about Starfield for the first time in years. If this tweet just came out of the blue a couple of months ago, I probably wouldn't think twice about it, but with all these other things happening, it is kind of hard to not look a bit closer at it. Could this kind of be that start of a sort of marketing campaign? Of course, this is a charity event. Bethesda is doing this to raise money for a good cause. That's the core purpose. But in a sense, perhaps over the next couple of weeks, Bethesda will be speaking more about Starfield, and this in a way is kind of marking the start of that. Not officially, but it's likely this auction just happened to go live now, and this is the product Bethesda was offering up as a service. Now, we also may be looking way too deeply into this, but I do feel like in some way or another, this almost makes it feel a bit more likely we hear more about Starfield shortly. Like if Starfield was coming out at the end of 2022, I feel like Bethesda wouldn't allow users to create a character. They definitely could. I mean, they flew out Shirley Curry to put in the Elder Scrolls 6 about 7 to 6 years before that game's gonna actually release, so they clearly work on this stuff ahead of time, but at the same time, it just makes you wonder, as well as all these other kind of cryptic or mysterious tweets we have of maybe something's going on here. Either way, I really just wanted to post a quick video talking about this, why this could actually be something more. Again, on its own, this tweet doesn't mean much, but when you look at it in this greater context, it definitely is interesting. With that said, as always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all next time. Later.